Welcome. Hello, everybody. Anna Achimowicz from Rock Dance Theater, back with you. And today is a kind of a special discussion on Let's Rock Alive with Anna because we turned our rock talk and podcast into a rock intervention, an internetvention, if you will. And joining me in discussion today is my great rock friend and as well fantastic artist and frontman of, among others, the band TNT, Tony Harnell. And we're going to talk just about what is currently on all of our tongues and has escalated quite a bit in the last months, years, if not a decade already. The topic about social media, online bullying, cyberbullying, and everything that has kind of disrupted many of our lives and as well brought too many teenagers, too many young people, not only in the industry, to realistic breakdowns, suicides, and life losses. So that is an issue that has to be addressed. And as much as we always keep things positive on Rock Dance Theater TV, it is a topic and an issue that should be discussed, should be brought forward, and there is no tolerance for it. So let's find solutions for only positive vibes within the World Wide Web. And Tony, I would love to invite you over to join me in discussion. Welcome.
Hey, Anna. Nice to be here.
Hi, Tony. Great to see you again. It's been half a year. Yeah, me too. That's always how we meet, exactly. And it's been half a year already. I actually had you on my other medical Met Talk podcast half a year again. We were talking more about kind of health, but on the physical level of the body. Today, I guess we're tapping a little bit more into mental health, period, and sanity overall. So... Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is it's great. You know, it's great to, obviously I do a lot of interviews and I really am excited to talk about things that, I like talking about music. Obviously, that's the best thing to talk about. But
of course,
I think it's exciting to talk about things that that are important and that are, major social issues at the moment.
I agree. Well, here's the thing. All of us as people in performing arts, you with your long career and everything that is happening around your reality in music and stage performance and interactions with fans and people following and, well, our audience, myself as well, me and my Rock Dance Theater universe, a little bit different outreach, different format, different media, but we are people that are exposed to kind of the virtual audience because currently, we do live in a society that has become online and virtual driven. It's what life is. And all pandemic aside, all of interaction aside, basically something that has been before a major issue, which is classical quote unquote bullying, meaning just kids being rude to each other, kids just being nasty, a way to grow up and express themselves at school. I remember those times, probably you remember those times. But that was happening within a reality when two people were in the same space. Someone got punished for it, period. It's the wrong thing to do. But within the virtual realm that we do exist as performers, it's a part of our lives. It's a part of promotion, our earnings, ways of reaching out, ways of interaction, and, well, pretty much handling our art and sharing it to a little bit wider spectrum, a wider eye, if you will. We are exposed to what is happening that I find very scary and not to be tolerated, which is online bullying, because there is no day that I don't see a hateful comment that, my God, would turn anybody's day from, the sky is blue and I'm just having my coffee and I'm opening my email, I'm starting my day, I'm kicking in the next day of my life, and I see something hateful. I'm not going to quote anything because it's just wrong to bring any bad energy. But what is your day like when you witness social media in today's day? I probably guess it would be the same.
Yeah, I mean, I notice whenever I see a post from any major news outlet, could be music outlets, Rolling Stone, anything that I follow, Brave Words, Blabbermouth. Whenever I see any type of announcement about any person, about almost any topic, there is inevitably a negative comment or more or many negative comments underneath the announcement.
And instantaneously, wouldn't you notice?
Instantaneously. And I think one of the most, I'm just going to mention it real quickly, one of the most toxic things that I've been noticing, and a friend of mine brought it up to me recently, is the use of the laugh emoji underneath posts. I see a lot of people using it as a means to belittle or demean somebody's post or somebody's comment.
Where do I even start?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, with whoever invented that. I mean, we're probably going to jump into how the social media world operates and basically how the corporations are being run that support the platforms. And you have some psychologists or pseudo psychologists that thinks of ways to interact. But why in the hell would you have a laughing button? Why in the hell would you have a thumbs down button? It's like, I think, to interject, I think Ricky Gervais is the bulletproof person as a celebrity, as a comedian, as a person out there on stage that is bulletproof from any hate, because he can immediately flip it around. And the best quote ever that I can bring up, especially to that, it's like looking at not only the interactive reactions that are virtual and to the comments, it's like reading a toilet interior from the past like 20 years in a rock club down under. It's like you got it all. I love him. I hate him. Screw him. Someone else fucked me over. You know, a can of Coke. It's like, and it's true. You open it and it's basically endless, and that is also scary.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of it has, the worst bullying that I see is when it's about a celebrity. Maybe it's about a new project they have. If it's an actress or an actor, maybe it's a new movie, or an artist, a new album. And often right out of the gate, there's especially women, men get it too, but women, especially women, are vulnerable to, you know, derogatory comments about how they look. I see it all the time. And I wonder who these guys are, you know, and where they live and how they live. And, you know, I know, oftentimes I'll see something like that and I'll think, this guy's got to be single forever, you know. But the thing here is that we've got a platform that allows people to say whatever they want and think that there aren't any repercussions, but there are. But for people who have no conscience, you know, I guess they're willing to say whatever is on their mind and risk something negative, you know, affecting somebody else. It's just really unfortunate. I've experienced cyberbullying since the beginning of social media. I've had people make memes, take a picture, take a photograph that's one of me, and then write something on it and put it out there into the world of a slanderous lie. I've had a lot of this. When I say a lot, okay, a handful of time. A handful.
You've experienced it. You've experienced it.
I've experienced it enough. And there are the thing people have to understand is that the people who do this, who make it their life's mission to destroy another person because they were slighted or feel they were slighted because they were blocked on a social, hey, you know, these pages are mine. They're yours. They're whoever. And it's my prerogative, just like it's somebody else's prerogative, to block anybody I want. But some people get, you know, a little crazy with that. But people
back in the day, sorry to interrupt, back in the day, the people that now as a tool we can block, so to speak, were literally punched in the face for saying something or acting on something that they shouldn't, that there was an unfortunate or uncultural or just inappropriate, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, So blocking is a non-violent way to say, get out of my life. You know?
What else can you do if it's
right.
the first line of defense? Number
Okay,
one.
so right. So people have to understand that when they see somebody relentlessly going after another person, and I think 99% of the people out there understand this, but they understand that the people who do this are mentally ill, very mentally ill. And I'm not making any derogatory remarks about being mentally ill. I'm saying that these people are mentally ill and it's affecting what they do in life, and it's making whatever is wrong with them. I'm assuming it's some sort of malignant narcissism or whatever you want to call it. They are using this technology we have to hurt other people.
No, I mean, we don't even need to find a definition for it, nor a medical one, nor excuse it. There is just no tolerance for it, whatever the cause might be. We all know as human beings, raised well, culturally kind of injected the positive balance of good things, bad things. You know when you're doing something wrong. I mean, come on, if you leave a hateful comment, you do it on purpose. You don't do it to enforce anybody's lifestyle or career. Or send them a positive vibration. No, you're doing it on purpose. You're stopping there, scrolling, taking your time out of your own life, which obviously you have not filled up with anything satisfying or fulfilling, I would imagine. Because who does that? I mean, it's an open question, and it's a rhetorical question. How the hell dare you ruin anybody's life or even anybody's kind of vibe of the moment? If you don't like it, don't shout at a poll saying guitar lessons. If you don't like guitar lessons, you're not interested, move along. You don't stand there screaming, I fucking hate guitar lessons. It's like only sick people, I would imagine, would do that. And by sick, I understand the very wide range of whatever that is unnormal.
You would be surprised at how little these social media platforms actually take action.
That's another topic. We can also go there, but
for all of the talk about hate speech and the things that they take down are, I know, triggered by their computers or whatever, but oftentimes they really miss. And they also sometimes refuse to take down, even when they're alerted to things. They won't take certain things down that are really hurting people. And I've got a situation like that currently. I've had lawyers, I've written letters, and there's this, but again, like I say, I think that any of my fans that see anything like this, that's obviously just ranting craziness, that they're just going to step back and say, all right, whoever put this thing up and went to the trouble of doing this is obviously insane. And they have too much time on their hands, like you say. But
obviously,
but that's not the point. The point really is that the social media platforms have to do more, and we have to talk about it because it is hurting.
That's why
people.
We're here. Absolutely. And now is the time to start, because I think the jar has been filled. I mean, one too many names, one too many situations. It's been here ever since social media has been created. But what we observe in the last literally months and years, and where do I even start with names? From Johnny Depp through Vince Neil, just recently coming out of a pandemic and throwing on a concert. One of the first comments that I see, I wish you die, don't ever sing again.
Amazing.
Why something like that isn't prosecuted? I mean, obviously something as hateful and hurtful
is
okay. I mean, how sick do you have to be to even do that? I mean, doesn't matter that the guy will not see it. The rest of the world sees this. And as we know, as herd mentality, if one person does it, they will all follow. And the majority of those that engage in that behavior.
Somebody actually said he should die.
Yeah. I was literally unlucky. I mean, it just broke my heart. I mean, okay, like the dirt aside, knowing Motley Crue for who they were, the drugs, the sex, the rock and roll, scratch that. Even if the guy has a reason to professionally be subpar, not to be able to perform, not to be able to kind of, okay, get his stuff together for whatever reason. And it's his business and nobody else's. On the other hand, there are professional people that work with it. Name it addiction, name it fitness trainer, name it coach, name it whoever. I mean, people like us that are on stage, we know it's not an easy job, number one. Number two, we are exposed to failures. Not all shows are fantastic. But then again, if we looked even through the pandemic, and again, I'm not defending anybody, I'm not taking a stand, but my opinion is, if anybody had a show after a year and a half that obviously did not work well, and you're a vocalist as well, Tony, you could probably relate.
Yeah.
You know how the voice is fragile and vulnerable when you smoke, when you drink, when you don't keep in shape, when you don't sing for a year and a half. Right. And add any kind of post-traumatic stress that we had either way for a year and a half, being scratched from tours, scratched from our work, our natural environments, and interaction with people. It has actually happened throughout the last months as well. I've been talking to all kinds of guys and girls in our profession that it was such a huge, not only energy load, but also challenge for them to be among people again, to kind of put on the rock game, you know, to deliver on the same level. Performance aside, even kind of functioning, you know, in the routine again. It was just like, it was a cultural shock. We're all, you know, patients of PTSD post-pandemic, but that's not the discussion for today. That's something else, obviously. But
it's an interesting thing to add into the discussion.
It's connected.
Because I think just to touch on that for a minute, I don't think that people are quite acknowledging enough. I don't see enough acknowledgement on social media and about how this whole period of time, which has never happened in our lifetime. It's obviously historical. It's something that nobody's going to forget of any age that experienced this. They're going to talk about it forever. And to me, I haven't seen enough artists. Maybe I just haven't seen it, but it feels like people have through the whole thing are trying to, and that's understandable. We're all trying to cope, and we've all been trying to cope, and we've all been trying to figure out what to do, how to keep in shape, how to make money,
of course,
how to stay connected to our fan base, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But and again, this is not just about musicians and artists. I mean, this is school. I was talking to a friend the other day. I can't even imagine being 16 or 17 or 18 years old and having this happen when you're about to start your life. You're about to finish, you know, your high school years and the biggest years of your life for a lot of, you know, when you're young like that. And to get this disrupted and be thrown out of your, you know, what you're expecting to do and have your life basically be delayed. This is going to be something that an older person, you know, we can sort of, you know, okay, you know, this was hard. We had to stop working. This was really hard for some more than others. But for a kid, I mean, this could be really devastating.
Absolutely. And
people aren't talking about it enough. And when you add the bullying thing in and you add that element, I mean, it's almost
have a tragedy. Like, you basically have a tragedy waiting to happen because
that's right. Yeah.
There has been a huge statistic. I followed a little bit. I'm not an expert on mental health. I'm a physiotherapist. So like holistically, everything about a human well-being is included. But on that side of the spectrum, what I found most shocking was the actual rate of suicide during the pandemic, during lockdown, during just social interaction, people going insane, not being able to interact with their loved ones, but instead being thrown into this experience that when you pick it up, there is so much hate and bullying and trolling and all of the new categories that I did not know when I was born. I did not know for like 2 or 3 decades before internet was invented, because we happen to have the experience of having the life experience for many years already when things were normal. Yet again, I'm going to quote that because, again, we all remember how bullying worked, and I don't know about your expertise and experience about that, Tony, but I'm going to ask you in a second. what I can personally share was the most ridiculous and weirdest bullying type of any sort, because I was 7 years old, first year at primary school over in Europe. After I relocated from California, I already did 2 years of preschool. A teacher pulled me out of class, asking a question with another colleague. I think it was something about literature or whatnot. And I was wearing a black jacket with some tiger stripes, you know, kind of like a glam rock, Motley Crue meets Steel Panther kind of thing. And she bullied me. She was like, okay, model, come on over here. Let's see how smart are you. And I remembered it for decades. It was haunting me. I immediately took it off. I was wearing a regular oversized t-shirt the next day. It sank in so deep. And it wasn't even a kid. It was a freaking irresponsible adult, a teacher for replacement for one class only. And me being a teacher as well with youth for even longer that I'm a performer. I started teaching when I was 16 because I always had that in me to kind of educate people how things should work. You know what I normally do, Tony, in class? The person that is standing in the last row that doesn't see much, hear much, and of course you have the front rowers that are rocking the Nike t-shirt because they want it all. I'm pulling the poorest, shadiest kid, the most timid, right next to me as a freaking assistant, and that kid feels like a freaking superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an example for the rest. Because you know what? When we're in that surrounding, we are all freaking equal. I learn from you guys, and you learn from me. Period. Nobody is better than anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a quote from actually Frank Bello. It's not my quote. Anybody,
okay.
Nobody is better than anybody. I love it, and I always pass it along. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but there has to be there really needs to be more solutions and
let's talk about solutions then.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
You know, I don't know where it begins, but you know, you've got a platform where anybody can go on with their phone or their computer and sign up to any social media and create all these fake accounts.
Memes,
so you
hurtful accounts about people that exist realistically as public people as well.
Yep. So you think you block somebody or took care of it, and there's a new account attacking more. You know, there's just got to be some policing. I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe more verification, and that's the other thing. You can create new emails all the time. So if you signed up with one email,
it's endless.
So I don't know how they can control that better. Maybe by using IP addresses and being able to track like.
And I want to stop you here if I can. The thing about IP addresses, as we know, what is online and what is in the interweb reality is kind of forever, but then again, it's traceable. Anyone that thinks they are anonymous, they're very much not. I mean, you can hide behind your fake name and fake photo or meme if you want. But the truth of the matter is, if the police would want to track you down for something that obviously is hateful and ruining and just disgusting, you name it, any category, you can trace it. Nobody is anonymous behind their phone. They think they are. And I think as well, our discussion is more than important to say that and state that out loud, that not only there is no tolerance for cyberbullying, it's going to come to an end because you will be caught. Like, I don't know what the prosecution would be. I mean, until the laws are being introduced and internet starts to have any kind of control, which obviously now it has not. I know because me as a woman in art, when I post a photo that has a little bit too much body or nudity or artistic whatever, all of a sudden a platform doesn't like it and they block it, they take it down. But when I report something that obviously has pure intent of wrongdoing, we don't see anything wrong in the guidelines.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, no, I mean,
something is wrong here.
Yeah, I mean, they'll take down something that shows skin before they'll take down something violent, or something that threatens violence. You know,
and endorses.
There's a thing. The thing that I've been fighting that I can't get taken down actually has a threat it has a lot of slander, but included in that is an actual threat at me. So it's just crazy that these platforms won't take certain things down. It doesn't make any sense. Now look, there's two sides of this in terms of, you know, your regular person. Let's take you know, a young kid. They see these people on Instagram, and they see people getting what they deem to be famous. And we all kind of know by now that the amount of there are people with, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers that it's kind of like a fake fame, you know what I mean? But these kids, they want that. And there's this lure of social media. And I think that's also playing into the bullying thing. There's just so much going on with the social media thing. I don't know what the solution is, but it's out of control. It's completely out of control, and something's got to be done, maybe on a government level. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest, but it seems like the regulations they've put in aren't really working.
Don't work. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And well, truth be told, it's not about really finding the solutions. We all know why the platforms exist. They want your money. That's how they operate. That's what keeps them going. The more users, the more subscribers, the more accounts, the better. But it's not about that, because if we go down that rabbit hole, humanity and society in general makes absolutely no sense. I mean, any values that we learned and we grew up with, either you or me personally, or all of the sane people, and hopefully all of our viewers that are normal people, supporters, audience members, you know, just people acting normally and not abusing social media for any wrongdoing and bullying. Hopefully not, because if I find someone like that, I will block you, number one, and then I will just disengage. Like, you don't exist for me. Mm-hmm. Because I do not allow anyone to cross the border that in reality would be someone just walking up into my face and telling me, whatever, you're stupid, you're ugly, I hate your voice. Yeah, walk away, it's your problem. But with social media, no, very much so. I can do it because of what we mentioned, because I'm anonymous, because there is no legislation, there is no control. And what's even worse, the reality right now that is online is a kind of perception that not only young people engage in, but passive responders or passive audience members are actually people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, the ones that are connected to it. And by doing nothing as well. Yes, I just wanted to say, some of them not only not kind of slamming it down, seeing a teenager post something shitty and negative, they just kind of engage, you know, they're kind of jolly in a passive way, but they're the first one to reach for it.
I've never experienced adults bullying kids before social media.
True. Yeah, if we're talking online only, of course.
I mean, it's not something you see every day. Yes, you were bullied. You were bullied by a teacher. Of course, I saw some of that, but you know, growing up.
Yeah, but that's real life. That's different.
But that's just different. I've never seen. I mean, but bullying somebody you don't even know, especially a child, based on a difference of opinion about what they, you know, I mean, think of, you know, the girl from Sweden, Greta, can't think of her last name.
Thunberg. Yeah, yes. The activist. Yeah.
I mean, I saw, you know, 50, 60, 70-year-old men just going after this poor girl about how she looked and how stupid she was. And you know,
this is the part that I would call pathology, period. I mean, an adult commenting anything negative about someone that is underage, number one, 18, 21, like it doesn't matter. I mean, the truth of the matter is, why do you do it? What is your motive? Like, what is your problem that you have to act out this way? And again, we're not looking for answers to justify that behavior, because that's not the way to do it. We are looking actually at finding solutions on how to disengage that, how to stop it, how to not tolerate it, and to have that on a wide spectrum. Because we said it before, I told you, my only aim here is to bring awareness, have a nice chat with you, Tony, spend an evening that is productive, that is actually...
We're not going to change the world, but at least we're talking about it.
Little by little. It starts with one rocker chick, it starts with one rocker guy, and if it's fucking enough, it's fucking enough. And I say, it's the end.
Fuck shit up.
It's time to clean it out, because I want to live in a healthy environment. I want to see positive comments. I don't want to see shit about my friends, people that inspire me, that I like, that I follow, that I choose to interact with, blah, 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 you name it. It's just terrible to witness. That's not normal life. That's pathology. It's like an alternate reality where something went wrong in Back to the Future, right? And we have to be a part of it. And I say no to that. We should not.
Yeah. And it's not fair that you need to have an endless source of money to fight a lot of this stuff. And because most people can't afford to hire a lawyer.
No,
they can't afford, look, the one thing that we have to acknowledge here is that for everything that's good that we have in this world, whether it be materialistic or anything
spiritual
else,
of any sort,
for everything good that we have, people will make it bad. And so there are obviously great things about social media that have been really awesome, especially for artists. There have been a lot of really cool things. But if you think back to a time, and I can, again, I know that most of the people watching are not artists, so they're not.
Could be a little bit of both. Internet is for everybody,
right? So, but they're not going to relate the same way to being sort of in the public eye. The way, look, if you're putting music out, or you're any type of artist, you're putting yourself out there in a way that most people don't.
Of course, and it's our risk. It's
and there's a risk,
hazard.
There's a risk. There was always a risk, even before social media, because you walk on stage and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do my best, and
the bottle flies by, or
right, but
the bar fight cracks open.
In the 1970s, let's just say, for example, or even the 80s, the things that you were insulated as an artist. You had some insulation around you between your personal life and the outside world, and now they've been encouraging us. You have to interact with your fans. You have to interact with your fans. Okay, good. So
when you say, sorry to interrupt, when you say they encourage, is that who?
Managers, people who work with, for example, the industry. You need to interact with your fan base. That's how you use social media. And I see people doing it really well, and I see a lot of people doing it very poorly. And there's a balance that has to happen there. There have been times where if I don't like every single comment on my main, let's say, Facebook page, somebody's like, oh, he didn't have the time and he stopped at a certain point. I'm like, I didn't even see him, but
oh, really? Is that expectation? That you like a comment, that you engage in every single whatever popping up?
Yeah.
Good God.
Sometimes. And so where does, your obligation, where does it start and where does it end? It used to be enough to make music, spend the time and the money on making the records and writing the songs, which takes a lot of effort, to make great art. Then you go on the road and you do these concerts and work hard, and that used to be enough, those two things. And you'd give your interviews, and now it's all of that plus you have
plus
to
people want a part of you. Yep,
okay,
exactly.
So
and
with that comes the risk of accessibility. So I've had people, I've now tried to pull back and be more and more private on, especially Facebook. Instagram has some better tools, I believe, to kind of cut people out sometimes, but maybe they both do. But what I have found is that some fans can even reach into your private life, and they can even reach out to your family, to a wife, to a girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and,
There are absolutely no limits
there's no limit
for
to
those kinds of people.
what those kind of people will do. And so I just want to make people aware that I love what I do. I'm not complaining. This is what I chose to do but you know why? Because I love music and because I love to sing. That's why I'm doing it. The other stuff is what comes with it, and I accept that. But it doesn't mean that me or anybody else who's an artist should be subject to anybody's whim on social media to be attacked or belittled or degraded or slandered or lied about in any way, or have your personal family and loved ones contacted for, you know, it's just important that people understand that we are oftentimes more vulnerable than the average person is. But if you can imagine that, then some poor boy or girl who's 14 or 15 years old or whatever on Instagram or Facebook, they post a nice picture and they get attacked by their friends at school, and now they've got to face their friends, and this thing, it's
a vicious
everywhere.
cycle. It's a vicious cycle. So if let's say we don't have the answers, right? But we're bringing awareness, number one. We're obviously not tolerant to any of that. It is a problem. It needs to find a solution. Let's say that 0.01% would be the solution starting now, this discussion, and hopefully all media, all podcasts, a lot of people using internet for whatever reason, self-promotion or just like posting pictures of coffee because they love it, it makes them happy. I would probably be one of them too. But let's say this is the beginning of a solution for everybody to acknowledge the problem. Let's brainstorm. Please catch up with me in a month. What did we come up with? What are the solutions to actually, as you say, take legal action by contacting whoever can control that, number one, because we're not going to change the world in the sense of, hey, people, stop being stupid, stop being idiots, haters, whatever, because we know that comes from a very complex place, from education, from culture, from how we are as people. And as funny as it is, because us creators, we can create beautiful things, whatever that means. At the same time, human beings, Homo sapiens in medicine, can be the most negative and destructive, ecosystemically detached beings possible. And Greta Thunberg speaks about that, for example. So
I will say one thing.
That's one thing.
No, I will say something else though. You know, sometimes, often, I will say even not sometimes, oftentimes, some of the media outlets, and I've had this happen too, will take an interview that I did, like this one, which is for a good cause, and we want to bring awareness to something, and I'm bringing up things that happen to me because that's the topic, and I want, you know, I'm sharing my experience because I have experience with this, right? But inevitably, a media platform can pick up on one line that I have done in an interview, and they take one little thing, they make it a headline, and they they invite bullying. Yep. And I've had
because that's called clickbait, triggering, what have you, anything that triggers emotion or controversy. That's another part of the wrongdoing. And it's people, it's people that are writing the headlines. They deliberately pick something. And that's, where I come from as a kid, California, I've seen media and I've seen magazines that were pure scum. And I didn't know shit about the profession because I was too young, but I knew it was wrong. And it was just like, what the hell is this? I was repulsed, and I still am. And I'm a 34-year-old woman having a 20-year career already. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot at the same time. So the next kind of red bulb going off would be media themselves. I mean, any respected media outlet, whatever that might be, digital or hard print these days, and they do exist. We're not generalizing that it's all bad, and right?
But you know,
It's not all bad,
it didn't
but the
use
wrong ones exist, and it's
it
too much
didn't
of
it
that
didn't
as it is.
it didn't used to be that way. And unfortunately, the ones with the most followers, let's just take the hard rock metal world. I mean,
Metalhead. I like
that's
your
where
T-shirt, Tony.
I'm not gonna. Oh, this is actually a group in Norway,
I know.
Metalheads against bullying.
Yeah, I saw
And
that. That's awesome.
yeah,
Thank you for wearing that.
they're
Super cool.
a great organization that help kids and people in general of all ages, but they focus on kids and they do a lot of work, actually hands-on work in Norway, and they raise money to
Awesome.
help kids that are being bullied. It's a really good organization. Anyway, what I was going to say is maybe the start, maybe one little thing we can suggest right now, and you know, you can only make changes where you can affect things, right? Maybe
I'm taking notes.
yeah, maybe some of these media outlets that use clickbait can adjust what they do a little bit. So if somebody gives an interview and it's 1 hour and they talk about their new record and they talk about, in my case, I have a vocal course, you know, that I did during lockdown, which I was really excited about and which is going quite well. And I've talked about that and I've done these interviews and I talk for like literally 15 seconds about something that isn't consequential to my life anymore. And they'll grab it and go, boom. And then all of a sudden, my whole interview that I did about new music or whatever, that's not even important anymore. And people are like, oh yeah, that guy. So, I mean, that's a place where, you know, these media outlets can be a little more responsible maybe and realize that we all want the same thing. We're just trying to make music. We're trying to make our way through a terrible time. And the last thing I think we need to be doing right now is
dividing people and turning them against each other. And
is having it's already a toxic world by nature of what's going on. We don't need to add to this and make it more toxic, you know.
I agree.
We need to heal. We all need to heal collectively, you know.
I couldn't agree more. So education, actually, number one, it comes down to education. If you want anyone writing a column or a headline, don't take anybody at random, number one. Don't take, well, I'm not sticking to people that are underage, but pick people that are responsible, that want to stick to the work. If you're writing about a movie, about a stage show or an album, let's just have it at that. Private life is private, and we're not gonna, you know, disengage paparazzi. We're not gonna freaking disengage trash media that just prey on that, and they just want to ruin people's lives. And that's the news of today, and that has looks and likes and followers of whatever sorts. But my suggestion, if I can add to what you said, Tony, would be stick to what the person stands for. If you're a painter, talk about the painting. If you're a recording artist, talk about the music. If you want to share something about your private life, well, I like to drink coffee. That's as private as in public as it fucking gets, because pardon my swear, but that's my show. That's how I roll. To kind of put an exclamation mark on that. Like, I'm the most private person on earth. You don't know anything private about me because I do not need the validation of taking a photo of what I had for lunch. I don't need that. If I want to share a promo photo for an upcoming tour, God forbidding, you know, or blessing, that's all. Seriously. So, like, probably for people that are out there, let's say us, we can just stick to that. Period. Because we know it's going to be taken out of context. I mean, I'm even waiting for your background to be a headline. What the hell is that? It's like, I don't know, a parakeet, right? Look, like, Tony Harnell likes parakeets. Huge headline. Yeah, someone is going to have a problem sooner or later. We know it.
But look, we all want to feel a little more connected to each other, and you know. most big artists have some element in their social media that is a little bit of a
approachable.
Just you get a little bit of insight, and I like that.
Me too.
But at the same time, you know, when it comes to, look, I mean, look, we go through life, we all make mistakes. And, but the last thing that you want is to have somebody jump on every single mistake you make and keep bringing it
And
up
judge.
5 years later, 10
And
years
publicly
later.
judge, for
That doesn't
example.
happen to
Yeah.
people in normal life. You
No.
know, something
I
goes wrong.
haven't
They
seen
get past
anything
it.
like that.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's
Yeah.
and that's the weirdest part about social media and
Yeah.
real life. That all of the hatred and the negative comments that are there, and I say that again, as Anna Achimowicz of Rock Dance Theater, they are there purposely to take someone down, to make someone feel bad, to ruin somebody's life.
Nobody is without mistakes. You can't live on this earth without having made them.
We're all people. That's exactly how it works. Good, bad, mistakes, and all. But normally, no one would walk up to you when you're in a store unless they're really mentally disabled and unstable, and they would tell it to your face. I would hope, as it comes down on social media.
Yeah. So I think really, the answer is easy. If we're all kind to each other, this wouldn't be happening.
And respectful.
Unfortunately, we've got, you know, people who basically spend. I mean, look, whenever I get a really disturbing comment, I do take a look. Not every time, but sometimes I'll pop over and have a look at the person's profile. And most of the time, when I see a negative comment and I do that, their entire page is negative. Their entire page is attacking people or, you know, groups of people or whatever the case may be. So it's a pattern that, you know, we didn't, again, it's those people existed before social media, but they didn't have a place to be mean.
Fueled by.
And let's face it, they get a lot of attention, and that's what they ultimately want, is they want attention. So maybe another answer is that when we see these horrible comments, maybe if we all train ourselves to just not respond.
Disengage. You know? I just wanted to say,
just don't. If I see something on my page and I don't want to ruffle any feathers, I love on Facebook that you can just hide the comment, you know, and then nobody else sees it, and they don't know they were hidden. The comment was hidden, and good, it's done.
If I see that, I just delete it and I block, not thinking much of it. It's like, to hell with that. It's a very kind of short lane and short attention spam. It's just like delete. Nope, not in my reality.
See now when I do that, I get in trouble. And I have people going bananas and writing crazy shit. So I have to be careful who I block and delete now, you know, so I'll hide their comment.
Well, let's not get paranoid, because life is life. Life is normal. We do what we do. We want to do it because we love it, because we're passionate about it. We don't want to walk the street or open our computer in fear of what might be there. That's the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah. But people don't like being blocked. They really don't. So anyway,
should I care? Should anybody care? I mean, honestly,
probably not. And this is probably something that I need to work on. You know,
I respect that. That's kind of your way dealing with it. There are no rules about social media. It's because it's weird in itself. I had a talk with Rudy Sarzo on Sunday, and it was lovely. And our conclusion, me too. Like, who doesn't? And basically, the bumper sticker for the show was, all you need is love. Love is all you need. It solves it all. It just diffuses wrong, hate, and evil, period. It's just, if we embrace that and we are kind and respectful to each other, as I always do, I tell my parents, thank you, you have raised me well. I would like to believe that I'm not a bad person, in the sense of I'm not rude, I'm not arrogant. If I am, you probably freaking deserved it, because you're an asshole and you treated me bad, and that's what you get. Story done.
You're right.
But in social media, there is no backlash. There is no, defense, and there should be the defense that comes from above, which brings us again what to do to bring attention to platforms from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, what have you. It's usually one guy owning them all. But what we do need is bringing attention that, hey, this is not okay. This is scary. Teenagers commit suicide. People's lives are being disrupted. People are destroyed between their loved ones and careers. Like, the list goes on. And something has to be done about that. And that's all I would wish for, to kind of start figuring out these solutions, and only through embracing, positive action, positive comments, and just kind of being strong together. Because if it's only individual kind of in the midst of it, it's just like, oh my God, what the hell do I do? Do I log out? Do I cancel the account? Do I disengage? It's like, I think it's important to talk about this. And I really appreciate, Tony, you coming on and sharing your personal experience that you did. I, knock on wood, I haven't had as severe kind of experiences on social media, but when I hear words like threats, or people contacting family members, or really digging deep down in your personal private life, that's a red flag on the legal side. And that's already a kind of felony. That's something already that police should look into, and any kind of authority. I mean, for God's sakes, it's just...
Totally agree.
It's crossing the line, to say the least.
I mean, if and most people are gonna say, fuck this, but if everybody looked at it this way and said, when you have an opportunity to make a comment on social media, think about being around the dinner table for like Christmas or something with your family, and somebody says something. Are you going to make that same kind of comment at that dinner table? And if you're not going to make it at the dinner table, don't make it on social media.
Think before you post.
Most people will say, fuck that guy.
I can say that back, like, fuck that, because I will think before I post, and I hardly do, and I hardly even look at you. But I'm not perfect either. It's just I see a problem somewhere, and whenever I see a hint of wrongdoing, a hint of people in distress, and again, I'm a sensitive person, I'm a creator, I'm a woman in arts. It's just, we're all in this global village, but this is not real life. It's just, we got to kind of bring any kind of normalcy and just give a couple of slaps in the face, which is not embracing violence and not endorsing anything like that, which probably might be pulled out of context. But what I mean by that is just, good is good and wrong is wrong, period.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're all responsible for ourselves, and so
we have a brain.
We're not going to be able to police the world, but they do need to make it easier for people to fight this without having to spend thousands of dollars on legal fees. There's got to be.
It's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary.
There has to be a system within each social media platform where there are people receiving reports who are actually looking at each situation and saying, yeah, this is not okay. So I'm not sure how we can make that happen, but maybe this is the start. Maybe more people just need to talk about it.
Absolutely agreed.
It's
actually, it feels, it definitely does not feel safe anymore. No. It hasn't for a long while, and just witnessing it passively, just seeing it happen is just beyond sad and just like disengaging and unmotivating, number one. But number two, the people that it actually touches, is just you have no idea the backlash that can actually exist from that. And that's where I think all of us should kind of step up, and as people, not even as rockers, not even as rock stars or people in the industry, should point that out. Period. And whatever happens in order to kind of get things going, I would love to have that topic as a series, because quite honestly, I mean, I love interviews and I love talking bullshit and backstage and shows and projects. It's just awesome. I mean, we're all passionate about it. We could talk for hours until the tape runs out. But every now and again, there is this kind of, mission moment. And that's why I kind of name it as an intervention, a rock intervention, you know, like family members like jump in by the table and they need to figure stuff out because someone is in trouble. Well, guess what? Humanity is in fucking trouble. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna preach, but I do see a freaking problem. And when I do, you don't want to piss off Achimowicz. So that's my only disclaimer on that.
Yeah, I just think, you know, just one other thought I have is just that when people see, I think there should be basic ideas, you know, put into place. Like if you see somebody is struggling and you know, whether they're famous or not famous, and you know, there should be some rules, some ground rules, like don't attack their appearance, you know, don't attack their mental health, you know,
Huge issue again.
right, or anything related to, especially those things, right? And just be kind, because for everything that you're seeing, you have to step back and see that there's probably some pain and something behind, you know, what's going on when you see somebody.
And even if not that, don't believe everything you see and read, because we live
100%.
in a world driven by
Absolutely.
manipulation, driven by fake news, driven by bullshit that have no pretense whatsoever. I mean, if anyone wanted to slap a sticker next to my name or your name, they could do it freely.
Oh yeah.
And it's out of this world. It has no merit whatsoever. Can you stop them? No, because that's the virtual world that we need to exist in. So
if you want to turn somebody into a monster using social media, you could probably
one headline, one comment, anything that is being picked up mainstream has a life on its own, and it's a monster of its own. And that's basically the monster, not only of fame, but of internet. And if you remember Lady Gaga's Monster Ball and her album about fame and paparazzi, that's exactly the monster that she pointed out. I mean, she's been through that. Still, back in the day when she was Stephanie Germanotna, she had brown hair. She was a chick that just wanted to freaking rock, and she had a voice and she had a passion. And all of a sudden, you know, boom, she doesn't care what people think or say, and she embraces that, and she teaches that to kids. That's why I'm also a huge fan of Gaga, because she doesn't give a fuck. I mean, she's the young generation, call it Madonna lookalike, whatever, but no, she has her own style, and she really points out embracing the monster, embracing the fears, the young kids growing up, not having idols or heroes or just people to look up to, as a positive influence, as someone to kind of guide them. You know, he's a good guy, she's a good girl, they have a passion, something is cool that takes them off drugs, of dumb stuff, break-ins, you know, shootings, what have you. It's just like, we need all of that. I mean, I remember you were telling me on the Met Talks, to kind of interject, because we digress, that you had an upbringing in opera, and you started singing super early because your mom had a classical music education. So that sucked you in, and the rest is history. I remember as a kid, I was super hyperactive. My mom wanted to include me into like martial arts, but as a girl, she figured, okay, let her dance, let her do backflips and just beat the crap out of the floor. And so I was lucky as well to have that to guide me, and to have people on my way, not only to have formed me as a person who I am professionally and as a human, but at the same time, I picked up on values that I think lack on social media and on online, period, which is simple human decency, simple respect, kindness, and just not shitting on anybody's head for no reason other than, I don't know, you're bored or miserable, because we all struggle, we all have problems. You never know who is behind the screen. Maybe they have a lawsuit, maybe their loved one dies, maybe you had to, I don't know, part ways with your favorite animal, like whatever it is. We all struggle, but why add fuel to the fire to make it even a harder place to exist? That's all.
Yeah, I think what you say about not believing everything you see, that's so important. And I think most people are pretty smart that way.
Hopefully.
And I think, and at the same time, I think we're all guilty of perhaps posting things now and again that we don't check enough. I'm talking about maybe news things or, you know, whatever. Right. I posted something the other day that supposedly was showing two oceans meeting, and I got a lot of flack about it. And
Was
there's
that an
still,
album cover, like?
no, it was just a science article, actually.
Okay, something
So
you wanted to share. Period. Okay.
I just thought it was a cool picture, and the debate is still out whether it's real or not real, or whether it's rivers running into oceans, but you can post a picture of a cat and start an argument these days.
Someone is going to have a problem sooner or later.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's not a cat.
Absolutely, that's not a cat.
But yeah, I think that before social media, there was always the truth that we of trying to live your life and be true to yourself, and not caring about what other people think of you if you're not hurting anybody. And I think that with social media, the thick skin that we had to have before, if it was thick, now
it has to be
just now
thick, like my leather bracelet.
More, yeah, we have to have like a fortress where we really
hey, I'm a lover, I'm not a fighter. I don't want to fight. It's just like, come on, I just want to be happy and have a good time.
But we shouldn't let those things make us retract, and we make us it's tempting for me to escape all the time and just say, I can't do this anymore. But we can't let those bullies stop us from being who we are, is what I want to say.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not. And that's on any level of upbringing, be it in real life or in social media, because it's usually that one bully that wants to exactly make you feel bad, take you down from anything that you're doing, from anything that you're happy about, positive about, because that's what fuels them. That's what gives the satisfaction. So I think even more so, I would love to bring back what you said, disengage. Don't give them the satisfaction of attention, because usually it is about attention seeking that comes from a different place. You act out on it online because then you get that rush. You did something for the fact that you did, not caring about consequences. It's just that's your whole life, and it's sad. And it's unfortunate, but we're not going to deal with the shit. It's not going to affect us, and we will not hide, as you say, because that then affects us feeling like, holy shit, is someone going to jump at me? Like when I go to the store or go up backstage again, it's like it translates into reality, the real physical one. So I agree. We should not, and we just got to be kind of, balanced with our behaviors and all that. But we do need help. We do need help from above, and by above I don't mean God, because we're good there. We're covered. There's a more intelligent force that runs the show. But
someone could argue with you about that, though.
Who cares? It's opinion, religion, politics. Everyone has their own, and that's also a part of life that is kind of private. That's why, as John Corabi says, which I absolutely love as a person, that's why you got these little booths with the little curtains. When you pick in politics, you don't need to talk about it because it's your choice. Who the hell cares? If you're a good person, let's just stick to that.
Yeah, I think that it really just depends. I think even that decision is an individual decision. I think it's often been good for the world when certain artists that have a lot of influence speak out on topics that are important. And I think without my opinion, and I would get slaughtered probably by some people for saying this, but
let's not go there. I don't have enough mops and wipes over here for blood. That's my next episode. That's my fourth.
But I'm only going to say that I really think that it's that we're lucky to have people like John Lennon and Jane Fonda and people that are willing to speak out. That's all. And but yeah, I think that I was going to say I'm reading Rob Halford's book right now. And
awesome!
I'm a huge fan.
And who doesn't love Rob? I'm a huge admirer as well.
A lot of singers I know have a deep appreciation for him, but I'm not. Mine was life changing. When I first heard Judas Priest, and I've been very just you know, followed him so much over my entire career. I'm reading this book and I'm thinking about all the kids out there that are, you know, gay or transgender or whatever, and the shit that they go through online, you know, and the bravery it takes for
That's
like
a
a guy.
whole other story and discussion. I
But
mean,
it's
basically, I don't
yeah,
care if you're straight, gay, pink, purple, like it
but it's to
doesn't
do with
fucking
bullying.
matter. It
Yeah,
has everything to do with bullying, because
yeah,
if you're generally different from what a bully thinks is normal, and they
yeah,
have an opportunity to lash out at you, they most
yeah,
certainly will. And
yeah.
that's the problem. That's
So
basically the
so
problem.
so it's brave, very brave of a guy like Rob Halford to be so honest as he is in this book, and all the kids out there and anybody out there who's different, whether it be mental health stuff or it be sexual orientation or
Or you
anybody
lack
who,
a limb, you just
or
have an
whatever.
elbow,
Right,
whatever.
right. Overweight, underweight, you know, whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. You know, it's just that we have to be brave enough to stand up for who we are and not let the bullies make us retreat back into our shell, you know.
Absolutely. Awesome. That's all we need for today, I think.
Okay. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you so much, Tony. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in and jumping into this matter. And
Don't be a bully.
don't be a bully.
Yeah.
Most certainly not. Because karma will get you.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Have a safe day. Stay sane, stay healthy, because we're still in the midst of the pandemic, but we want to rock live. So stay safe, stay metal, and until next time, as always, see ya. Anna Achimowicz and Tony Harnell signing off.